Good morning, everyone. My name is Ms. Marquez. I'm here representing ACE, the after-school program, and I'm covering on behalf of Mr. Rodrigo today. We're going to go ahead and get started, but first of all, does anybody need, si alguien necesita traducción en español? Si nos dicen y nosotros les llevamos los audífonos. ¿No? Okay. So, as I already introduced myself, I would love to go ahead and pass the microphone around so you guys can each introduce yourselves. Say if you hear your name, what you're representing, if you're a parent, and what school you're representing. We'll start here with this table right here.
Hi, Crystal Fuentes. I'm the District Testing Coordinator.
Amanda Red, Assistant Director for Data and Accountability.
Bill Swanson, Director of the ACE After School Program.
Good morning, Valerie Martinez, Benefits and Risk Management Coordinator. I handle the wellness for the district.
Good morning, Idalia Valdez, Lead Nurse.
Good morning, Dwayne Vishnevsky with Child Nutrition.
Good morning, Carla Guerra with Child Nutrition.
Sergio Chávez, Child Nutrition Finance Director.
Carlos Villalobos, Child Nutrition Director. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning, Myra Lopez, Food Service Manager, Area at Clinton.
Good morning, Sarah Borrego, Marketing for Child Nutrition.
Cindy Rojas for Scouting America.
Paige Hale-Bacchus for Scouting America.
Manuel Chavez, 6th grade PE, East Montana.
Sandra Bertoldo, Ricardo Estrada, PE Coach.
Armando Moreno, PE Coach, Horizon Middle School.
Good morning, Valerie Brandon at Clinton Junior High, 7th grade, Health and PE.
Good morning, Laura Torres, PE, Mountain View High School.
Good morning, Carla Chavez, Mountain View High School Health Teacher.
Good morning, everybody. David Gardea, Clinton High School Health Teacher.
Good morning, everyone. Cynthia Acosta, Parent, Carol T. Welch, and Sika.
Perfect, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Isabel Soto Ortega, Parent with a child in Horizon High School and with the City of El Paso Department of Public Health.
Thank you and welcome. And we have 3 more over here.
Good morning, everyone. Guadalupe Vela, Student Services here at Clinton ISD.
Sylvia Castro with Curriculum and Instruction.
My name is Juliana Aguilar. I am the statewide education specialist that would be presenting today.
Okay, and like always, we'll be going over the core values, which is we are committed to student success as a shared responsibility among students, parents, educators, and the school board and the community. Learner-centered by ensuring that all students receive quality teaching and engaging instruction. Innovative in using global thinking and technology to empower students to become lifelong learners. Nurturing by creating an educational environment where all students are socially and emotionally supported, safe, and valued. And we are transparent through open communication, leadership, accountability, and integrity. This is our agenda. We're gonna go ahead and cover the family survey, the SHAC overview, the presentation by Ms. Juliana, and child nutrition updates. We'll be having time for questions and answers, and that will be concluding our meeting today. If you guys can please take a moment to scan the QR code that it's either on your tables or here on the screen. And if you guys can please provide feedback, it's really important for the district to know what your feedback is so we can continue on doing our best for our students and our parents. Okay, and like I said earlier, I am covering for Mr. Hernandez, and this is the SHAC overview. We have Mr. Rodrigo Hernandez. He is the Assistant Director of Special Education. Mr. Swanson, Project Director of ACE. Myself, Miriam Marquez, Family Engagement Specialist for the After School Program. Ms. Deborah Mesa, Public Relations Manager. Ms. Silvia Castro, Secondary Curriculum Instructional Clerk. Ms. Amanda Rueda, she introduced herself already, Assistant Director of Data and Accountability. Crystal Fuentes, District Testing Coordinator. Mr. Villalobos, he is the Director of Child Nutrition Program. Mr. Sergio Chaires, Child Nutrition Program Finance Director. Idalia Valdez, Clint ISD Head Nurse. Ms. Gisela Lucero, Shift Technology. Adriana Maciel, SPED Coordinator. Jillian Cho, Public Relations Secretary. And Ms. Valerie Martinez from Benefits and Coordinator. So what is SHAC? School Health Advisory Councils help parent and community have a voice in issues that impact child health. Whether it is about school meals, staff wellness, vaping, recess, or bullying, SHACs can provide input and resources to district leadership as they work to find solutions to health challenges that we face. The SHAC meeting requirements, we must hold 4 public meetings each school year, which I believe this is number 3, correct? Our public meetings requirements are must post notice of date, hour, place, and subject 72 hours prior to, must make an audio or video recording of that meeting and maintain minutes, must submit to the recording and minutes within 10 days for posting on district website. And this is our district website. If you guys ever have a question from previous meetings, feel free to visit our website or scan the QR code and it will take you to our previous meetings. And now I have the pleasure of presenting Ms. Juliana Aguilar. She's a statewide educational specialist, and she's visiting us all the way from Houston, from the Crime Stoppers of Houston. And she has great information that we can take back to our campuses, or as parents, we can definitely take into consideration for our kiddos. And please don't forget that we have a delicious food provided by our Child Nutrition Program. It smells really, really good, so help yourself.
All right, guys, well, good morning. So my name is Juliana Aguilar. I'm coming from Crime Stoppers of Houston. Really quickly, I'm just gonna give you some insight as to what it is that we do. Once we get the presentation up and running, you will see a QR code with all my information on there, and it'll have my email, my phone number. My organization is sponsored by TEA. So we are in alignment with their prerequisites. And so please utilize us. We are completely free. Even though I'm coming from Houston, my travel costs do not need to be covered by you. My stays, nothing needs to be paid for. It is completely free. So if you guys need me for any kind of presentation, please utilize us. We're free all year. Even if you guys need us for some kind of staff trainings, we will do that. We train staffs. We do presentations for kids, K through 12. We also do presentations for parents. Now, with this being El Paso, I'm aware that you guys have a big demographic with Hispanics. I also have these presentations in Spanish if you need them for parents or even students. We have tons of requests for ESL students. So again, completely free. You don't need to pay for a single thing. TEA is our biggest sponsor. So remember, there is always those presentations, these topics that you guys need to get out of the way every school year. We always need to talk about fentanyl. We need to talk about bullying. We need to talk about, What else is it? There's a tons of stuff out there. Okay, just use this, please. So here we go. You're about to see that QR code. Please share it with your school counselors. Share it with whoever it is that you need to share it with. We also have free resources, so you guys should have gotten one of these. We used to use these back then. Back in the day, we used to have like these ID cards that parents would take home for their kiddos, you know, to identify them. This is similar. So what this is, it's an identification kit. I hope and pray you guys never have to use these. If you have kids, if you have grandkids, nieces, nephews, maybe, in here, this is one per child. In here, there's going to be an ink, like an ink stamp, like an ink strip, actually, an ink strip. And what that is, it's gonna take the fingerprints. So it'll have boxes for all 10 fingerprints. It'll have areas for you to fill out with your child's information, allergies, height. You can even stick a picture in there of how they look, anything that's going to identify them. In the case of an emergency, you are going to hand this over to the police, and this is going to help the case. So I really hope you never have to use this, but it is always handy to have. These are free. We give our resources for free as well. You should have gotten little booklets, drugs in a snap. We give stuff like this as well. So all of this is completely free of cost. If you ever need more of these, if you want more for, if you have more children, or you want these for your school campus, again, we can give these to you. This is a great thing that we do because high school students actually do volunteer hours to help us put these together. So this is also something great that we do for some hours for those kiddos that are in NHS. So I hope you got my information. I'll put this back up here in a little bit. So here are all our sponsors. Whataburger's a great one. I asked if you guys have Whataburgers because I'm gonna ask y'all questions. If y'all answer a question, I have coupons. I know y'all love coupons. So I'm gonna start off with this, a tip line. In every school campus, by the state, we are to have an anonymous tip line. This was brought up by David's Law. If you don't know what David's Law, I will go over it down the line. Every school campus is to have an anonymous tip line where kids can report something that they're seeing on or off campus. However, there's a lot of school campuses that unfortunately do not post this information for kids to have. So whenever we go to school campuses, we talk about a school tip line within their own community. So here in El Paso, what city is this considered? Horizon City, okay. So here in Horizon City, because every city has their own Crime Stoppers, you guys would search up Crime Stoppers of Horizon City, or if you live closer to like actual, do you guys have an El Paso City? Is that it? Okay. If you guys live closer to El Paso City, you guys can reach out there. You can look them up online. This is a great way to get kids to start reporting, even you guys. Let's say you guys saw a hit and run that was terrible, but you were able to record it and you got the license plate. If you report it to Crime Stoppers because you don't want to report it directly to 911 for personal reasons, and if your tip leads to an arrest or disciplinary action, you could possibly be compensated with a cash reward. That cash reward is going to look very different with every city. The bigger the city, the bigger the cash reward. So I actually live in Dallas. Our cash reward is up to $5,000. Houston as well. Here in El Paso, I want to say it's up to $1,000. You just never know. So the way you could do it, you could look up Crime Stoppers of Horizon City, Crime Stoppers of El Paso, or you can always dial this number and it'll take you directly to the nearest Crime Stoppers line. So again, completely anonymous. Kids actually like to use it. I do have to remind them that they need proof. They need solid proof. So if they see someone getting cyberbullied online, they need screenshots of what's going on. They need to send in the case. Crime Stoppers will give them a date and a case number and a date to call back. And if they decide, okay, thank you for your proof, thank you for calling it in, thanks to you, we were able to send someone to juvenile detention center, or the student was able to get expelled. Then they'll let them know how to get their cash reward and how much it is. I do have to say it's up to that certain amount. You're not always granted that 1,000 or 5,000. It's up to that amount. But money is money. So today I'm going to be going over social media and mental health and the impact it has on students, right? So what exactly is mental health? Some laws, some student experiences, and leading a balanced life. So very quickly, what exactly is mental health? It is pretty much how we act and how we feel. Do we have any counselors in here? No, I don't think so, right? Okay. Okay, just making sure. Now, our human brain development. I am very excited because thanks to TikTok, a lot of kids know what the frontal lobe is. The frontal lobe is what's in charge of our emotions, how we sleep, our behaviors, all of that good stuff. Now, that actually does not fully develop until we're about 25, right? If you started to use any kind of substance in your teenage years, you're actually delaying that process of that developing. If you're a male, they say it takes about a few years longer as well. And they recently said that the average age now is 32. So they keep prolonging it. So we're not fully mature yet if you're not in your 30s, I guess. Okay. Dopamine. Dopamine, as easy as it is to say, dopamine is pretty much that happy pleasure chemical that goes off in our heads. So right now that some of y'all are eating and y'all were hungry, dopamine's probably going off in your brain right now. This morning when you got that I love you text from your daughter, your son, your husband, your wife, that was dopamine going off in your head if you were happy to see that. So social media gives us a lot of dopamine. If we post a picture and our notifications are flooding with likes, flooding with comments, and you're just so happy, that's dopamine. On our birthdays, if we tend to get a lot of birthday messages and we're just so happy because we're receiving all of this love, that's dopamine going off. So that's how an addiction forms. We post on social media, we start to receive likes, comments, and shares. We're receiving this attention, and dopamine is released, so it's triggered, and that's what makes us want to post more, right? That's why a lot of these kids start to post more pictures. That's why they start to post more often, because they like the attention they're receiving. Teenagers love attention. So this is how it can affect our mental health. It affects our mental health because in these years, a lot of students are doing a lot of comparing. They're comparing themselves to other kids, especially girls. Girls tend to do a lot of comparisons. They're very hard on themselves. They start to say, I'm not as pretty as her. Why don't I look like this? Why isn't my hair as long? Why isn't my body forming like this? And some males are like that too. Why does this guy get all the girls? Why does this guy have this bigger body figure? They're very hard on themselves. So that can also lead to depression and anxiety, especially if they're overusing social media platforms. The average usage for a child is about 8 hours a day. That's including the time that they are on their laptop for school-related material. Now, during vacation, during summer breaks, winter breaks, that can go up to as high as 16 hours a day. They're not really doing too much. So it really does impact their mental health if they're just sitting in front of a screen all day, soaking up all this content. And again, who are we to blame? We're to blame, right? It used to be that kids were getting cell phones maybe around middle school age. That's when I got my first cell phone, middle school. Now we go into all these elementary schools, and these kids have a phone starting at 5 years old. They have tablets from the moment they're 3. You go to a restaurant, all these kids, tablets sitting right in front of them. So 2 years ago now, 2024 was 2 years ago, 95% of teenagers have smartphones. It is very rare that you see a teenager without a phone. Their parents run a strict program if they do not have a phone at home. So 75% of teens have at least one social media profile, at least one. And there's always those parents. My child is not allowed to have social media until they're 18, till they can pay their own phone bill, till this. I always have to be the one to break it to them. I guarantee you that child has a social media platform somewhere. They're just hiding it from you. Strict parents make the best liars, I'm sorry. Now, I say this because I used to be a teacher myself, and these kids had all the trust in me when they would tell me things. They used to tell me, oh, my parents took my phone away, but they had another fake one in the drawer. I took it out and I'm using it under Wi-Fi. Because they can text under Wi-Fi. A lot of other kids, it used to be that like platforms like, Instagram, you used to have to log out to log into another profile. Now you can just add it and you can flip between profiles. So some of these kids are using their friends' phones to create a profile behind their parents' backs. So those parents that really want to protect their kids, I get it. It's understandable. You want to protect them from social media. These kids are so sneaky. They're so sneaky. 51% visit a social media site daily. I mean, kids don't even interact with each other anymore. They go to social gatherings, they go to parties, they're all on their phones. They just cannot get off of them. So now I'm gonna ask y'all. Let's see if y'all are any better. I'm no better. How many of you have more than 3 social media profiles? Social media includes TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is actually considered social media. There we go. Okay. Now, when you're on your phone, what's the app you typically go for? You have Instagram? I got coupons right here. TikTok, okay. Facebook, that's the first one. Now, I always ask kids this question. The moment you guys wake up, what's the first thing y'all do? Grab your phone. See, I tell them all the time, y'all are nasty. Y'all don't go brush your teeth first. Y'all go straight for the phone. Nah, I do the same thing. And a lot of people describe it as addicting because you're somewhere, and I find myself doing the same thing. I just grab my phone. There's nothing there, but I'm still grabbing it. There's no notification. I'm still grabbing it. So here are some of the terms and abbreviations. I'll remember those that answered. I'll give y'all coupons, don't worry. Algorithm. So the algorithm is how your For You pages are set up. So if you're on TikTok and you've been liking a bunch of videos about dogs, you're gonna continue to get a bunch of videos about dogs, right? A lurker is that person that watches all your stories, has you as a friend, maybe doesn't even follow you, but make sure to watch your content, but they never interact with anything. They never like or comment on your post. Tag, it's a private message sent directly to a user's inbox. Virtual reality, we really don't see it as often. It's very rare that people actually have those 3D glasses, but some people have them. AI, very scary. I fall for these AI videos all the time. They're hard. I mean, yeah, I fall for them all the time, especially the ones on TikTok. And then we have the deep fake. We have fake pictures and videos that have been digitally manipulated. And these are things that are happening to students nowadays, and I'll go over that. So here are the safety concerns that we're having. Cyberbullying is still an issue, and kids get tired of hearing about it every year, right? But I have to remind them, you're still having these conversations because you're still doing it. You're still being mean. You're still bullying your classmates. You're going online and you're saying mean things about them. Now, cyberbullying is the #1 method of bullying, right? It used to be that it was physical stuff, but now it's all through online. It's messages, it's comments, it's creating fake pictures of someone, it's just saying mean things. So there is a law that protects students called David's Law. I'll go over that in just a second. Then we have inappropriate content. Over 90% of kids from 8 to 16 have seen inappropriate content online. It used to be that the first time they were seeing this content was at the age of 12 years old. That has now gone down to 8 years old. How many of you in here have kids? Many of you have grandkids. Okay, scary, scary. Grooming, 10 to 14 years old is the average age of online victimization. So I'll go over that in just a second. It's actually Human Trafficking Awareness Month, so I'll go a little bit over that in just a second. So here is how social media is being used over time. YouTube is considered social media because people on there interact with each other. There's subscribers, there's comments. So that is number one. That's not going anywhere anytime soon because YouTube has been around for years and years. TikTok is right under that. TikTok is the new Google. That's not going anywhere as far as number 2 goes. Snapchat is under Instagram now. Snapchat has definitely died down, especially since they started doing this new thing where they're making their users now pay for the memories that they had on this app. So a lot of people are stepping away from the application. And then we have the rest of them: Facebook, Discord, WhatsApp. Here are some emojis. They're always changing. There's a tool called Bark. It's a monitoring tool that some parents use to keep tabs on their kids. There's a monthly cost to it. But they did a survey, and this is what they discovered the kids were using the most when it comes to inappropriate things, which I'm sure some of these we've already seen. We know that they've been using. Now, when it comes to sextortion and pornography, guys, I told you that the average age of its first exposure is 8 years old. But let me give you some insight as to what sextortion is. Sextortion is when a child under 18 years or under is being blackmailed by someone to send inappropriate content. Now, this has led to some suicide stories. This has led to a lot of students not wanting to go to school. It has led to just some poor choices. So the cases that we have seen, it's typically with boys. It's with boys ages from 14 to 17. It happens more often with them because boys are less expected to come forward and talk about what is going on. Girls are a little bit more, how do I say it? They would rather go and tell someone and seek help rather than boys, right? Boys feel very embarrassed when it comes to topics like this. So among kids who have shared their own nudes, 43% admitted they had shared them with someone they did not know in real life. This is very concerning. So we have a team in Houston and we have a statewide team that we go around and do presentations like this. So every school that we do a presentation with, they tell us what presentation they would like based on the necessities. Sometimes it's bullying, sometimes it's vaping, sometimes it's this topic. And so when it comes to this topic, when we first started doing this, we expected a lot of high school students. Then we started getting calls from middle schools, and then we started getting calls from elementary schools because they just know way too much because of social media. They are very knowledgeable on sexual terms now, and so they have started to send nudes out to people they do not even know, people that they have been groomed by, people that they have played video games with online. The other issue is that maybe they're not always sending nudes. What they have also began to do because of AI is maybe someone that they are talking to online is just asking for a selfie, just a selfie. And just with that selfie that they send them themselves, that groomer, that perpetrator is able to take their face and put it on a nude body and blackmail them that way and create sextortion. I have this picture of you, and even though it may not be your body, if you don't send me more content like this, or if you don't send me actual content like this, I will send the one I do have to your loved ones. Or the other method is, if you don't send me X amount of money by the end of the week, I'm going to send this picture of you to your loved ones. So that's what happens when it comes to sextortion. So it is very important that we talk about this topic to parents and to kids. Now, here are some terms and things that they say, I'm sure this is always changing, right? The one that they're using a lot right now is crash out. I don't think it's changed yet. But that's the most common one. Now, there's teen dating apps. There is teen dating apps. Why, I don't know. But the concern here, yes, it is that teens are on here using these apps, but the other concern is who else is on them, right? There could be some adults on these applications pretending to be teenagers, and they're not. So one of the ones that they use more often is Meet Me. They do use Meet Me. And again, no age verification. That's scary. Then we have the other one that they use is also Perp. But these aren't the only apps that they're on. They're also on the dating apps for adults because, again, there's no verification on there. When you download a dating app, all you need to do is check mark that you're over the age of 18 and you can continue and make a profile. They don't need to scan your ID. They don't need to do any of that. As long as you just check mark that you're 18, you can proceed and talk to whoever you would like to. That is the issue with teen dating apps. So this is a reason why a lot of students have their phones monitored now by their parents to see what kind of applications that they are downloading. Now, going back to mental health, these are the numbers of the US adults diagnosed with mental illness. Now, we have percentage of 42% when it comes to mental illness. Then we have anxiety disorders. We have depression. And the reason why I show this is because some of these things can be hereditary. You can pass these things on. So maybe, you know, there used to be a lot of stigma when it came to mental health, but now we are able to talk about it more openly. And so I hope you guys are able to take this in and say, you know what, if someone really does have this, they can possibly pass it on to their kids. So it's important to talk about this. And when it comes to vulnerability, this can definitely make even more of a greater impact on their mental health. So if someone does not have a great relationship with their loved ones at home, if someone has a home life that's filled with trauma, that can definitely impact that student's life in a number of things. It can, you know, distort their view of some normalcy. It can create some cyberbullying. It can even make them victims of grooming. And so it can also increase depression or self-harm or even suicide ideation. Oh. So, again, when it comes to staying safe online, it's really important that we're looking over what these kids are doing, because a lot of impersonation is what leads to grooming. A lot of the people on social media, they're impersonating someone else majority of the time. They are creating fake personas using AI. They are using someone else's picture. Sometimes they even work in teams and they hire someone that is young and attractive in order to lure these students in. So this is how it works when it comes to grooming. They target someone. So how they target someone is, it makes it a whole lot easier if they're doing this online. They target someone that's on social media. So I always ask students, how many of you have your social media platforms on public? A good chunk of them do, typically in the room. And this makes the groomer's job a little easier because they're able to go and see their content, their stories, where they're at, their interest, all of that good stuff. So that's how they target. The other thing that students do is they love attention, right? So anytime they have a difficult situation going on, what do? They post about it. They post a status. They post some kind of sad story with a sad song. They make it very obvious that something's going on because they want to be asked, oh, what's wrong? This is what they look for. They look for that vulnerability. So they target someone, then they befriend them. It's easier to befriend someone if you already know their interest. They gain the trust by love bombing them, showering them with compliments, and they fulfill that need. That need looks very different with every single student. One student, maybe what they need is love and attention from someone, and they don't get that at home because mom and dad are always working. Another student, maybe they're going through some kind of financial situation at home. They don't have the newest phone. They don't, they're not up to date on their clothes. And so they need that. They need these basic necessities. And so this groomer is going to go out of their way to fulfill them with that need. They're going to isolate them from their loved ones. They're going to tell them things along the lines of, you don't need anyone else. You only need me. I'll protect you. I'll love you. I'll guide you. And then that ends up with capitalization. Now, with you guys being close to the border of Mexico, I don't know what the numbers look like here. I would actually be very interested to know. But when it comes to human trafficking and it being Human Trafficking Awareness Month, Texas is number 2 when it comes to these situations because we're such a big state. Houston is number 1. Dallas-Fort Worth is number 2. Now, recently, we've discovered that Houston is one of the biggest cities in the U.S. when it comes to this. And this is not too far, right? It's right here in our own state. But what I can say from my hometown is in Dallas, we have 400 victims a night, just every night, that are recruited into this sex trafficking ring. And the average age for this is 15 years old. Why is that? Because of grooming. Because they're talking to just about anyone. They're sending nude images to someone they've never met. They are just doing anything and everything online. Now, when I go to high schools, it is very crazy that some of these students are talking to people in other states. I had one recently, just a few months ago. I think she's a sophomore. Sophomore girl talking to someone in Florida. And the only reason I know is because her best friend came to me. I reported it to the counselors. Now this girl is talking to someone in Florida. When they FaceTime, his excuse is, my camera broke. That's why it's all black. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you could still FaceTime so you can see me. She falls for it. Again, vulnerable state because she does not have the best home life. She comes from a troubled home. But because this man has been showering her with compliments, she falls for it. And what else does he do? He fills her head with other things. He tells her, the moment you turn 18, I'm gonna fly you out here and we're gonna start a life, and she's falling for it. This is what these kids fall for. They fall for these groomers that fulfill them with lies. So, the same BARC, the same resource that I told you guys about earlier, did another case study, and this is what they found. What they do with BARC is whenever a child is texting or when they are on social media, what it does, whenever they talk about certain topics, it lets parents know, hey, this child is talking about depression on Instagram, just giving you a heads up. It's notifying them. So what they do is they took all the data based on what they were collecting from their users, and this is what they found. They found that 30% of tweens, so under the age of 13, roughly around 9 to 12, were talking about suicide. 60% of them were talking about suicide. We had 71% and 77% of teens talking about bullying. Sexual content, 63% of tweens. Under the age of 13, were they talking about something sexually? Drugs and alcohol, 63% of tweens talking about drugs and alcohol, again, under the age of 13. So these are all things of concern, right? Now, here are some common health disorders that I really want to get into, right? Anxiety, this is the generation of anxiety. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that. You've seen the books. This is the anxiety generation. Why? Because the moment that they were babies, they were placed in front of some kind of screen. They were placed with YouTube videos. They were placed with phones at an early age. So this is creating a lot of anxiety. Depression, persistent sadness, they're anxious. Someone that feels persistent sadness for more than 2 weeks, they are to look for some kind of help because that could lead to some sort of depression. Substance use disorder. This is a person that has inability to control their use of substances. We see this a lot right now with vaping. Vaping is a big issue. And then we have the eating disorders, severe disturbances in eating behaviors. Right now, it's a little calm, but we're speculating that with the use of Ozempic, that a lot of young girls especially will start to develop some eating disorders because of this, because they want to look the part like a lot of influencers have been looking lately. So here are some symptoms in children when it comes to some kind of anxiety or depression, right? We see frequent nightmares, we see sudden mood changes, we see decline in school performance. Now, not everything's going to be bad when it comes to social media, right? We have some positive aspects. We have that they can stay up to date on current events. We have that they can network, that they can communicate with family members, friends that live out of state, out of country, out of the city, and then that they can even raise awareness on certain issues. But this is what I tell them when it comes to how they can lead a balanced life. They can lead a balanced life by turning off notifications. I've actually turned off my notifications with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and it does help some. Limit scrolling and comparing. I know that's a little harder for them, but you gotta start somewhere. Unfollowing certain users that they find themselves comparing a lot to. I definitely tell them one of the best things that you can do is place the phone away from the bed. Put it on their desk, charge it somewhere else, charge it in the living room, just so they don't get that need to want to grab their phone and start checking social media. So here are some ways that, you know, even you guys can quiet their mind, that they can quiet their mind. Self-help strategies, meditating, journaling, listening to music, going for a walk. These kids need to go touch grass. I can't say that enough. They don't go outside often enough. So going to get some exercise, walking the dog, doing something, being active, and then just talking to someone. They don't talk to people enough, I feel, in person anymore. So that is always nice to do. Now, I really want to go over David's Law. With David's Law, just a quick reminder, some of you have heard of it, maybe all of you, but what David's Law is it protects your student against cyberbullying. So in the state of Texas, if a student is caught cyberbullying someone and there is proof of it, this is why I say collect all proof, screenshots of every message, every comment, every username, because some of these kids do it from fake profiles. Also, the numbers. Some of these kids even download applications to get fake numbers. Capture every screenshot of everything. If these kids are responsible for cyberbullying, at the age of 10 years old, they can go to a juvenile detention center. There is 2 consequences to that. The first one is a misdemeanor B. That'll get them up to 6 months in juvie and a $2,000 fine that the parents will have to pay. And the other consequence is a misdemeanor A. This is up to a year in juvie and a $4,000 fine. The difference between these two is that they will get that misdemeanor A if they are caught doing any kind of suicide baiting. So right off the bat, they're telling the victim, go kill yourself, go put yourself 6 feet under. Any language like that, automatic misdemeanor A, or if it's their second offense. So I feel like not enough schools know this information, and not enough students know this information, Because every single time I go to a new school and I tell them about this law, all the students have the same reaction. That's it. That's all that's needed. Sometimes we need to scare these kids. It's needed. So here are some social media resources. If you are a parent, grandparent, and you just want to keep tabs on what your kid is doing, use one of these. Bark does have that monthly cost to it, but I know that there is some free ones out there like Google Family. I want to say Google Family something. Google has one. Google has one that's free. It's not as detailed as Bark, but there's other similar ones just like Bark. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, that is a great resource if you want to be kept up to date with a lot of articles. Every single week they come out with a lot of information that are just good reads. If you want to know more about David's Law, David's Legacy Foundation, we actually partner with them, and they are a great resource when it comes to this. Our organization has actually launched an AI texting program. So if you guys scan this, and it's like texting someone, and you text them, I want information on, let's say, sextortion. You would just say, I need more information on sextortion, and we are going to text you articles and resources. If you need them in Spanish, we also have these in Spanish. So please use it, save it if you ever need any more information. I'm about to put my information back on this screen in case you need it, you didn't get it earlier. Again, guys, please use this. We're completely free. It'll make your lives a whole lot easier at your campus, at least for your counselors. There we go. And when you open these, guys, for those of you that have kids, grandkids, that little ink strip, be very careful when you open it, because sometimes it just falls right out, or sometimes it'll be stuck to one of these pages. So be very careful. This also comes in Spanish. So in here, you also see the Spanish version. So very careful with that. I'm going to pass out some coupons. If y'all have any questions, please let me know. And I have a couple more resources that I'll hand out. But thank you guys so much. Yes, of course. I believe there's also a website for, well, FBI brought that up during sextortion, a presentation. They talked about bringing down, like, for example, there's a pic that you want to try to retrieve back. I think it's called Take It Down. Yes. Take It Down is a resource. The people that are in charge of Take It Down is actually the resource I had up there, the National Center for Exploited Children. So what this is, it's a resource in case a minor has an explicit picture that was uploaded somewhere, you would go to Take It Down and they would work with trying to get that off the internet. So yes, it's called Take It Down. Great question. Does anyone have more than one kid? I think I have maybe one more. Three? Anyone need an extra? You need one? Okay. Yes. You need an extra one? Okay, awesome. Any other questions? We're good? Okay. There you go. You're welcome. There you go, of course. There you go. You're welcome. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I don't think I can. You're welcome. I took the microphone. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Juliana. That was great information. And I believe now child nutrition will be next.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And my name's Carlos Villalobos. I'm the Child Nutrition Director. That's a tough act to follow. She's got Whataburger coupons and a really good presentation, so I'm gonna try my best. But just a couple of quick updates for child nutrition, and we do have our team here. If anyone likes to chime in while we're going through the slides, let me know. So we are finalizing our menu planning committee meetings. We have talked about that at a couple of SHACs. We want to invite staff, administrators, parents. The purpose of this committee is we want to sample some food and we want to get your opinion and also see some things that you might want to see on the menu. So these are the dates if you'd like to take a picture. We're going to we did do one last year in the Horizon High School. So this year we're trying to do in 3 different areas. So Clinton area, we're looking at Surratt Elementary on February 19th. We will finalize the time and we'll send that information out to everybody. Horizon area, we're looking at Frank Macias, February 26th. And then Montana Vista area, we're looking at Montana Vista Elementary on March 5th. And we usually do them in the evening, 5 or 6 o'clock, just so that I know parents work and staff is at work as well. So we'd like to welcome everyone to come in, and we did have our last year, we don't have any pictures here, but we had a really good turnout last year. We had a lot of samples, had a lot of parents come out, give us some good feedback. And some of those things we did add to the menu, and some we look to adjust to what we can. So be on the lookout for the times. We'll send that information out, and then we hope to have you all come with us. If you can't attend a certain day, you can attend another one. You do not have to be from that area to attend this, but we do want your feedback. We are going to also open it up to administrators and teachers as well. The more the better, so we can kind of get your feedback. Feedback is always good for us in the child nutrition world. Okay. Another big update, I don't know if you all have been seeing the news with some of the updates. One of the big things is that there's I don't know if you saw our president drinking a big thing of milk, right? Whole milk. Recent guidelines just changed now. We're going to be allowed to offer whole and 2% milk to addition to low-fat and fat-free options. So we're currently working on that with the district to review next steps. It's something that we had, the 2% whole milk in the schools, and it was taken out, and now it's something that we're going to be putting back in and adjusting. So be on the lookout for that. If that's something that your students do want to participate in, we will be having that. We are looking at next steps for that, and we will keep everybody informed as we move forward with that next step. Okay, something really exciting that we did qualify for, that we're actually excited for our elementaries, is a fresh fruit and vegetable program. So, with little ones and all students, we're trying to promote more fresh fruit and vegetables. A lot of time kids see a fresh fruit or vegetable, and what do? Ew, like, I don't want that. You eat that, mom or dad, right? But we want to get kids to want to eat more fresh fruit and vegetables. So this is actually a program that helps to promote a healthy snack during the school day. So we're looking to start this in February. And these are the elementaries that did qualify for the program. Carol T. Welch, Frank Macias, Montana Vista, Red Sands, and Surratt. And so there was a way that the state looked at it to see if they qualified, and these are the schools that qualified. So what we're looking at as a district is starting in February, we're going to work with our elementary schools to provide this snack 3 times a week as part of a student's afternoon snack. And with the snack, we're also going to work with our staff to provide some information on fresh fruit and hopefully educate them on want to eat more fresh and fruit here in schools and also at home. So we're going to encourage kids to try new fruits and vegetables, and we're looking to try to get different types of fruits and vegetables. Okay? Any questions on this program? We're actually excited about that. They had it for a while, then they took it off, and then we got it back, coming back. So, yes, ma'am. So Desert Hills didn't qualify because of it does like a scale score, and they were economically too high on the score, so they didn't qualify. But everybody else did. I think it barely missed the qualification. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. But we put everybody on there, and these are the ones that kind of qualified for the state. And some of the cool things we were looking at as a team is looking to see if we can bring like dragon fruit, kiwi, different types of fruit and vegetables that they really don't see a lot of, so that kids can try it. What were some other ones, Chef, that we were looking at? Or Dwayne, you wanted to?
they'll come in prepackaged for each of the students. It'll be really execution and some information. One of the cool ones that we were trying, I was kind of mixed with, but I'm in the food business. I didn't even know what it was. It's watermelon radish, and I guess it's a cross between, it's a radish, but it looks like watermelon. Tastes a little sweet, but it has a little sour in the back, so it'll be a lot of fun. So there's all kinds of different fruits and vegetables that just to get them open up the world, see what all these things are, and just kind of have fun with it. So, and there's things in there that they know, like sugar snap peas and some of the things. So it'll be a lot of stuff that may be new, but it's really to help them enjoy food and experience some fruits and vegetables that maybe we don't get a lot and see in our grocery stores.
Yeah, that one was a little bit weird. If you ever seen a watermelon radish, it's kind of weird looking. It was a little scary, but we tried it, and it was actually pretty good. So the kids, if they come home talking about different types of fruits and vegetables, it'll be because of this program. So we're excited about it. Thanks, Dwayne. One of the things also that we're doing every month that we're trying to do in the schools is we're trying to bring a limited time, an LTO, limited time offer, and it's something that we're trying to sample before, and then it's an item that we put on the menu so that kids can eat it and try it. And this is actually the LTO for this month, and it's a spicy chicken street corn macaroni and cheese, and it has roasted corn, spicy popcorn chicken, crumbled feta cheese, which a lot of kids have never even tried before, green onions, a little bit of sriracha ranch. And so we are offering this for the secondary students in the last week of the month, and it's also a spicy taste that the kids really liked. So we're actually going to sample that for everybody here. We brought samples so you can try it. It is spicy, but the kids actually love spicy. So if you're not a spicy person, don't take a big bite, take a small bite, but try it so you can try it to see if you like it. And because we do have had a lot of positive feedback on this, we're going to hopefully plan to put this back on the menu as the semester goes on. So every month, students will, at secondary level, have an opportunity to try this LTO. And as for our elementaries, we're trying to provide different options for them as well. We don't have the LTOs for them, but we do have a plethora of options for them at the elementary. Okay? We have, 6 options, I think, for elementary, Dwayne? How many for elementary? Yeah, 4 to 5, 3 to 4 elementaries. We usually just had 1 before, but now we're trying to get them. And then secondary kids, we are trying to get kids to eat because we're noticing a lot of kids don't want to eat. So we're trying to be creative. I do want to thank our team. Carly, we have our dietitian here. Sarah, marketing, Dwayne, and our supervisors do a really good job to try to different. Sometimes, I'll be honest, the LTOs, the ones that we think are going to be like a hit, the kids don't like them. The ones that we think are not going to hit, the kids love them. So, but we're also doing like the sampling. So if you ever see a manager, they try to sample with the staff and students to see a couple weeks before to see, just to kind of get them excited about the menu coming, and then they offer it to the kids. We are seeing we want to get more kids to eat at all levels. We know that that's a big thing for us, and so we are trying to provide different options for them. And as far as our secondaries, we also have our high schools, we have our vending machines. Kids can get like a smoothie, protein pack, that's been very popular. And yeah, so we're just trying different items as kids go throughout the day. We know it's a long day for them. We want to feed their little bellies so they can do good in the classroom, feed their brains. So this is an LTO. Any comments on the LTO? Did you guys like it, or be honest on the feedback? What does it need? Thumbs up, thumbs down, 2 forks up? Oh, okay, cool. All right, good. I appreciate that. Okay, any questions for child nutrition or our team that's here with us this morning? Or questions on the cafeteria? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the milk. How about milk alternatives? So what are they offering then? What's the milk alternative?
For the one that's coming up?
Yes, like for example, do you guys have oat milk, or I know you said lactose free? So is that at all the schools?
That's actually, we do work with our dietitian, and we have different alternatives, but it just depends if any student needs. We know that there's students that need all types of different types of milk, so we work with our nurse and their pediatrician or their doctor if they have a specific milk they need. I'll give you an example, like one student at elementary level, they can only drink soy milk. So their doctor gave them a no for soy milk. So we work with our dietitian, they work with the manager and our nurse, and then we provide them soy milk. With the new whole milk and all that, we're still getting some information on that, but we do whatever they ask us to provide, we're gonna make sure we provide to our students. So if they say whole milk, 2%, 1%, we're gonna make sure we have all that milk for students to select. Okay, good question. Any other questions for child nutrition? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villalobos. So this concludes our meeting today. Our next meeting, unless you guys have any other questions for the presentation we had earlier from Crime Stoppers or anything at all? No questions? So our next meeting is March 25th, and I invite those parents that are here to bring another parent from you guys' campus or PE coaches. If you guys can invite a parent for next meeting, we would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you here for March 25th. Make sure you register for the meeting. Thank you.